Okay, so I'm here today with Judge Keith Cates and two-time Louisiana Association State Officer. So we have a couple of questions for you. Starting off with, tell us a little bit about what you do now.
So I'm the city judge here in Winfield. So I'm a trial court judge, which means that I hear trials for criminal and civil matters. I do all the stuff that leads up to a trial, like set bonds, appoint attorneys, sign warrants, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of paperwork involved. But yeah, I mean, I'm just a trial court judge here in Winfield. That's basically what I do.
So what was your favorite, kind of looking back now, what was your favorite memory in FFA?
Oh gosh, there's so many to choose from. Wow. State FFA convention really stands out. Getting to be there among all the people, and that really just stands out as a great memory. The friends I've made, through FFA. One of the guys I served with 25 years ago, I saw him a week and a half ago at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
It was just those kinds of things really stand out to you. Really, state convention though. If I had to nail it down, I would say state convention.
So, looking back and looking forward, now that we've kind of done a little bit of both, you were a two-time state officer,
Yep.
You got your American degree. What made you want to get your American degree?
It was just the culmination of the work. Why stop at just the state degree? Go ahead and finish out. I've done all the work. Why not go ahead and do the American degree? So I did get my American degree in 2002 maybe, I think that's right, 2002. I wouldn't swear to that, so I'm not under oath, so I can say what I want, right? 2002, so yeah, I served 2 terms as a state vice president. I went and found my jacket from my first one, and then it dawned on me that was 25 years ago. So that makes me feel old. But I did 2 terms as a state vice president from Area 2, and then went on, I think in 2002, to get my American FFA degree.
Oh, wow.
So I still got my chain and all the stuff.
Yes.
All the stuff's still on it, man. And it fits. I could put it on and wear it. I'm not, but I could.
Yeah, you could. So what was your favorite thing to do in FFA? I know you talked a little bit about your SAE earlier when we were talking.
So my favorite activity, everything I did in FFA, aside from being a state officer, now that was hands down the most enjoyable experience in FFA. As you can well testify, it is a fantastic experience. And my favorite thing was extemporaneous speaking.
Yes.
I wound up, tell you a quick story. It's one of those things where you learn a lesson, where FFA teaches you something that's beyond the skill that you're trying to learn, right? So extemporaneous speaking, you think, well, I'm going to learn how to speak. Okay, cool. So I grew up in Natchitoches Parish. I didn't grow up here in Winfield. I grew up about 20 miles from here, just across the creek, and so I had to go to school in Natchitoches Parish. And so Natchitoches Parish, I went to Lakeview, and there was another high school, Natchitoches Central. And so when you did extemporaneous speaking, you had the parish level, right? And then you had a district level, which was maybe 3 parishes, I think. And then you had area, and then you had state. And so my freshman year, I was doing extemporaneous speaking, and I got beat at the parish level. I couldn't even get past the parish level, and it was just pretty awful. But I was a freshman, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
And I come back the next year, and by the way, that same summer, I ran for area office. Area office or district office, something. I ran for something, I got beat. And so I come back the next year, my sophomore year, and I'm like, okay, my goal this year is to not only get out of parish, but get out of district, and at least get to area. And so I go to the parish competition, and I got beat again. So couldn't get out of parish, right? Ran for area office that summer. I do remember that. I ran for area reporter and got beat at that. And I was ready to give up. I was downtrodden. I was like, no, I'm done with this. This is not for me. I'm going to go play football or something. But it's one of those things where God puts FFA advisors in your path at just the right time.
Right.
And they encouraged me, stay with it, just keep doing it. So the next year, my junior year in high school, I had the same goal. I'm going to at least get to area. Okay. So I do my speech, my extemporaneous speech at parish sub-district, and I won it. I got out of district. I got out of parish. Got to go to district. So I go to the district competition, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be tough, and it was. But I still won. I managed to go to area, so I accomplished my goal, and I get to area, and as it turns out, I won area. I was like, are y'all sure? I mean, did you, is this something I like recount? Is this like Florida? So I did that and I went to the state competition. And I don't know how they do it now, but back then you had your state extemporaneous speaking competition at state convention. And so you found out at state convention how you place, right? And so there were 2 from every area. And I was competing against state FFA officers, I was
so
like,
intimidating.
yeah, right. And I'm just like, no, there's no way. And so I decided I was going to run for state FFA office and compete in extemporaneous speaking contest. And as it turns out, they announced nominating committee report the same night they announced the winners of the extemporaneous speaking contest. And I got to tell you, I was just as nervous as a person.
Oh yeah, that's like double nerves.
Oh my gosh, and I'm thinking, oh my word, my blood pressure is just gonna go, my heart's gonna beat out of my chest. It's awful. But you know what? I did well, and I wound up winning the state extemporaneous speaking contest.
Wow.
Got nominated for this jacket, and nobody ran against me, which is the best kind of election, by the way, when nobody runs against you. And so it wound up being a banner night, And I look back at that now. That was 3 years, 3 years worth of work, 3 years worth of just not succeeding,
right,
and continuing to try and to keep on going. And the hard work paid off. And then one night it all paid off. Now, don't ask me how I did at nationals because we're not going to talk about that. But it worked out well. It worked out really well. So that's probably my single favorite memory from my time in FFA. It's just that how that hard work and how perseverance pays off.
Yes. Listening to that here, that makes me so nervous for you. State office, and you have your extemporaneous, and you had all those times where you had failed and gotten back up, and you're like, oh, this is all when it comes together. So, I lost my train of thought. Just give me a second.
Sorry, that's okay.
But so you learn determination, you learn grit. Have you always wanted to be in law? Have you always wanted to be a judge?
Yeah, pretty much. I like to joke that I'm a lawyer. So you have to be in Louisiana. You got to be a lawyer before you can run for a trial court position or any kind of judgeship. And I always joke that I'm a lawyer because I couldn't get into medical school. But no, I've always wanted to be a lawyer and a judge. And this is something that I've really had my sights set on, my heart set on. And here I am. It's a great position. And I use skills in thinking about things I learned in the FFA. You use some of those same skills that you learned there in your professional life. So, patience and obviously speaking, you have to do a lot of speaking, thinking on your feet, those types of things. Now, I got to tell you, I don't use the dairy products lessons I learned very often. But I'll tell you what, I was on the electric team one time and I still have to use my electrical skills.
Yes.
And
around the house.
Yeah, right. But those lessons, those come in handy. Some of those life skills that you learn in FFA come in really handy in the professional world, in your professional capacity.
So you kind of answered my next question a little bit, and I was gonna have you talk a little bit about how you had your eyes set on something that was not agriculturally based, and yet you still you put forth all those effort, those 3 years worth of effort into an agriculturally based organization. What made you want to put all that effort into something that some people may argue is not even related to the field that you're going to go to?
Sure, and that's a fair argument that being a judge is not necessarily an agriculture job. I get that. But FFA teaches more than just agriculture. FFA teaches you life skills. It teaches you perseverance. It teaches you hard work, the value of hard work. I got to tell you, I went to LSU Law School, and that's no cakewalk. And taking the Louisiana State Bar exam, you do those things, and it requires hard work. It requires perseverance. It requires all those skills that the FFA teaches you. The only, practical skill, extemporaneous speaking, I was on the parliamentary law team, those things, those assist me with what I'm doing, those help with what I'm doing. But really it's those skills that you learn, those life skills that I keep talking about, that you learn by doing those kind of things. And I knew at FFA that I had a pretty good idea that I was not going to do some sort of agricultural education or agricultural career the rest of my life. I had a pretty good idea that I wasn't going to do that. I didn't always, and let me walk back something. I knew from an early age that I wanted to be a lawyer and judge, but sometimes I doubted that. Like I really wanted to do that. And so, in college, I wasn't totally sure exactly what I wanted to do, but then I wound up sticking with law, and here I am. But those skills, they really helped out. I mean, they really, those kinds of things that you learn just by competing, just by learning by learning how things work. Those critical thinking skills, those things really help out no matter what field you go in. And that's one of the great things about FFA that I really wish people would understand more, is that it's not just about learning, about the life cycle of a plant or some sort of a row crop thing or something like that. It's not about that. It is about that, but it's not only about that. It's about teaching life issues, life lessons to students. And that's really the benefit of the FFA. Agriculture or non-agriculture, that's the benefit of the FFA.
So if someone was like you and they weren't going into an agriculturally based job, they didn't want to go into producing or farming or anything like that, but they still wanted to get into FFA and they still wanted to get involved and get those life skills that you were talking about, what advice would you give to those kids?
Well, if you're asking me, if someone's wanting to become a lawyer, my advice is to run, but don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think that FFA, like I say, you should absolutely join, and you should give it a year. You should join, give it a year, and see if it's for you. Look, FFAs are like anything else. It's not for everybody, okay? And I've got friends, really good friends of mine from high school that were not in the FFA, and they're great people. But I've got some really good friends who were in the FFA that I've met through FFA. So FFA is not for everybody. FFA is not for 100% of the students at every high school in Louisiana. It's not. But I think if it interests you, if being a better person and learning how to do things, step outside of your comfort zone, those types of things, if that interests you, if you want to become a better student, if you want to become a better citizen, then give it a year and see what happens. Give it a try. If you don't like it, no problem. But if you do like it, you can really improve yourself. You can really learn a lot about yourself, about others, by sticking with FFA.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, it's been great having you folks in the office. If you please let me know if I can do anything to help you guys. It was kind of fun going and digging this puppy out and trying it on and seeing that it fits. So, yeah. No, it's been fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes,
y'all come back anytime.
Yes, sir.